Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's the SCB Steelers Podcast presented by Deck Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. We are very pleased to be part of the Variety Sports Network. And, of course, the show is originating from the Frank Walker Law Studio. Great to see everybody tonight. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 2-1 on the season, and well, you know, if you watch this show on the regular, you'll know that you get very honest, pragmatic opinions around here. And, well, we'll do our best to be positive tonight. Hey, look, the best you can say is they're 2-1, but we'll talk much more of that. I don't know where Ben is. He was active quite a while ago on our chat, but he has since disappeared. Froderick Jones is in the house, along with Patches O'Houlihan. It's fantastic.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Hello to Vinny and to Bill. Jamie's in. Let the lies begin. I love it. By the way, we're also streaming on Twitter tonight at SC Blitz. If you're more interested in that particular place, please check us out there. Melvin is here. Burner's in with a Dave Matthews Band slam, of course. I love it. I am totally here for it. And Melvin, safe travels to you, buddy. And safe travels to our buddy Craig. He's I believe he's en route to Ireland right now, as a matter of fact. He's heading over there, and I talked to him earlier this week, and well, I wish I could say he was feeling more positive, but he's just going over there to have a good time. Let's put it that way. Ian and Scarps. Ian, what are you drinking tonight?
Still got a little of the Oktoberfest left in my keg, but it's not very foamy, so that means it's getting towards the bottom of the keg.
Towards the bottom. Okay.
Yes.
And do you happen to have an idea of what you're going to replace it with?
Whatever they have in the store when I go.
Whatever's in the store and on sale.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shout out to Banksville Beer.
Right,
they have a very good selection of the 1/8 size or 1/6 barrel kegs that fit in my kegerator. So a lot of places that I've checked only carry like Miller Lite and Yingling, but they've got a good a good selection of seasonal beer. So they kind of rotate it through, and so it's kind of like we'll see what they got when I go.
Yeah, to Melvin's point, yeah. How can Ian afford a keg with all those kids? That's why he goes to the ones on the cheap. Melvin, Scarps, what are you drinking tonight?
I got a Four Seasons Brewing Company reboot, and it is a West Coast style India Pale.
Oh, those are nice.
Ale with Citra and Cascade hops.
Yeah. That's
it is actually pretty good.
Literally. Yeah, no, that's those West Coasts are nice. I mean, not a fan of the West Coast, but of course Ben isn't here for that joke. But in any case, yeah. And tonight I've got my last cans of Elvis juice by the folks at Brewdog. It's a very tasty hazy IPA. Which I'm a big fan of, and I think I've got a Coors Light in here somewhere for a backup in case I need it.
You're real quick. You remember when Steelers fans wanted to trade for Kyler Murray?
Yeah, how's that going?
He's terrible.
Is he playing Call of Duty again tonight?
He's playing Call of Booty. Marvin Harris, it's someone. And I can't remember who it was. It was somebody on the old. Art platform formerly known as Twitter today.
Yeah,
brought up a decent point. It was actually a good point, and they said that there are so many mediocre teams in the league that's why the Steelers are always relevant, and I think there's some truth to that because for a long time now they've been better than mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
But not good enough. And that's why they're at the spot that they're at. They're good enough to be better than these average teams, but they're not good enough to hang with the big dogs, which hopefully they'll get back to that point. But that's a fair point.
Well, it's stuff like that I'm too dumb sometimes to think about. We've talked many times on the show about the fact that the Steelers have also had an incredible run of luck when it came to facing backup quarterbacks too. With all the times that they missed Lamar Jackson, they missed Joe Burrow, and they're going to miss him again.
Mm-hmm.
We've had that good fortune. But I think to the point you're making, there's some truth to that. I look around the league right now. I mean, I look at the AFC South as and you look at some of the other divisions. I mean, nobody's really a dominant team right now. I mean, you have to like what the Lions did in Baltimore the other night. I mean, you don't see Baltimore get pushed around too much like that on defense, but and that's what a huge game that becomes now. You've got the Ravens at the Chiefs to see who doesn't go to 1-3. And who would have thought either of those? But yeah, I think that's a fair point. One of the other things tonight, and I literally just saw this. I did not have this on my original agenda or anything. And again, hey, Tom, hey, Matt, thanks for you guys jumping in tonight. And again, it's our first time broadcasting on X as well tonight. So great to see everybody there. Please like and subscribe at the show. We'd love to have you guys every week. And but Mina Kimes, Mina Kimes on ESPN, and I like her. She does a great job. But she said something tonight that caught my attention. She said she was a little disappointed in Aaron Rodgers. Let me ask you that, Scarps. Are you disappointed in Aaron Rodgers through 3 games?
Yeah, so I guess because I didn't see it, is that like she's disappointed overall?
She just thought she would get more from him, I guess, is what she was trying to say. And again, I'm not ripping her for the comment. She's got a right to her opinion. But it just struck me as considering all the other things going on with the team.
Well, I'm trying to organize my thoughts here. So
right.
After that week 1 performance, it was not realistic to expect him to throw for 4 touchdowns every game. But yet, Steelers Sunshine Twitter was trying to tell me that, he's going to play great. He's going to play great in every game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he has, I think he has 7 touchdowns.
Yes.
I think Matt said he's leading the league in TD passes. I'm going to trust you, Matt. And 4 of them came in that first game.
Yep.
I think all of them have come in the red zone, or almost all of them.
Yeah, I'm going to say 6
or at least close.
I think the very first one to Skoranek might have been just outside, maybe like 21, 22.
Fair enough.
I think.
But it and that was a great play to Calvin Austin to go up to 21.
Yeah.
To get to 21 the other day.
Yeah.
But to Mina's point, he has gotten away with several throws this year that did not get intercepted, and then Bobby Spillane the other day finally intercepted one.
Right.
And there were 2 in the Jets game that should have been intercepted. Now, and I don't want to play the shoulda, woulda, could you game, but
yeah,
I think it's important to talk about that because the ball has bounced the Steelers' way almost every time this season, including in this past game where there's a tipped pass at the line. There's no team is going to have fumbleitis like that every right?
Right. Right.
So I would say this. I think Rodgers has gotten away with a few throws, but I would also say they're probably 0-3 without Aaron Rodgers. And I can understand why she said she's a little disappointed.
Right.
But even though it looks the same as it has for the past 5-6 years, Aaron Rodgers could still throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as he's doing that, I think this team has a chance to win games. But I do not think this team is ready for the big dogs. And you could sit there and say, well, Baltimore's not that great this year. I'm telling you right now, Baltimore would beat this team.
Baltimore scoring like 35 points a game and losing,
Yeah.
Well, so Ian, the question I asked is Mina Kimes on ESPN, and again, great respect for it. She does an awesome job, but she was just kind of saying that she's a little underwhelmed by Aaron Rodgers so far, and it kind of caught me off guard. I personally, I didn't think it was fair yet to go there, considering what he has accomplished in the 3 games. What do you think of that?
I think so. Full disclosure, on the show, I was not a fan of the signing. I think Scarps is absolutely right. We're 0-3 without him right now. And he still has a live arm, absolutely, can fit throws in there. He's not the same Aaron Rodgers that he was 10, 15 years ago when he was winning league MVPs. He's not as elusive as he once was, doesn't have the, maneuverability. He can still get around the pocket, but he can't break off those 15-yard runs on scramble drills. But it's like he's 41, 42 years old. It's okay. Like it's okay for him to be old, but still have a live arm. And the biggest thing to me, I agree with everything Scarp said. The biggest thing I'll add is he's got that clutch gene. Both of our wins so far with him have been comeback victories. We were down, it wasn't a comeback against the Patriots. It was tied, but still he needed to put together game-winning drives in clutch time, and he did it. Hit that cover 2 hole shot to Calvin Austin. Like he can still make all the throws, right? We were talking about Russ last year, that all Russ had was kind of that, sky ball.
Yep.
He didn't have a whole lot on his arm. Like Rodgers has a live arm. He can fit those balls in there over the middle, deep down the sideline into tight coverage. I mean, that touchdown pass to DK Metcalf, that's why you sign DK Metcalf, because he can go get balls like that. But also Aaron Rodgers putting that ball where pretty much only DK could get it was, an outstanding throw. So I think Rodgers has actually done more for me than I thought he would, right? I agree. This is not a team that's going to compete for a division title or for Super Bowls unless Lamar somehow gets hurt, and which I don't wish on him. But if that were to happen, that's the only way I see this team competing for a division title. But nevertheless, Rodgers is good enough to keep us in games and still has that clutch gene that we haven't had since Roethlisberger left.
It's something I was
win it in the fourth quarter.
No, I agree. Something I was thinking about.
Can I say one other
thing?
thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I had to look it up. This was only the second time since Roethlisberger retired that we won a game with 0 field goal attempts. Like we rely so much on Boz, and we've talked about how much Boz brings. And there was that one game he was out, and Matthew Wright had to kick for us. But nevertheless, go ahead and drink. The Washington game last year that we won 28-24, and then this game against the Patriots are the only 2 games in the post-Roethlisberger era that we've won without having to attempt a field goal. So I think that says something as well, that we were able to win a game without a field goal attempt.
Something I was thinking about late in the fourth quarter, it's 14-14. What was the down and distance when he hits Austin for the TD? It was 3rd and 3rd and 4? I can't remember. Damn it. Anyway, what I was thinking about was this, and Scarps, I'll let you answer this first.
Yep.
Does the fact that you've got Chris Boswell, does that change your play calling on that 3rd down play? Because where you are on the field, you've got 3 points.
3rd and 6.
Yeah, 3rd and 6. Thank you.
3rd and 6,
you've got it. Instead of trying to get the first down, he throws an all or nothing ball to Austin in the corner of the end zone. Does Boswell having that for sure? I hate to say that now, but he's almost a for sure thing when he kicks a field goal. Does that change your play calling at all?
I would say this, and is as much as I like Mason, Mason's not throwing that ball to Austin like that. So that to me, and we're never going to know who called that play, right? We're never going to know that. I would like to think that it was Rodgers. And if it was, I'm fine with that. I've always, and the whole Todd Ben relationship was based on competitiveness and stubbornness, but they worked pretty well together. Now until Ben got Todd fired for his buddy Randy, but the point being is that I know for a fact, and I've heard each of them talk to one another and say, "Hey, I thought that's my bad. Good call," and vice versa, which is what you want to hear. So if I'm Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers says, "Fuck that, I'm running this because I know Calvin's going to have one-on-one," I'm fine with that. Or maybe it was an Arthur Smith play and Rodgers was like, "Good call," whatever.
Yeah,
but
go ahead. Finish your point.
In that situation, I don't trust Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky, and I don't necessarily trust Mason. I think Mason would have checked it down for something conservative. But yeah, to your point, to answer your question, because Boz is pretty much automatic. They're, worse, you got a field goal. But I would say this: that dictates what the opponents are going to do, because as bad as our offensive was, I thought the Patriots had so many fucking shot themselves in the foot about 1,000 times, and they still had a chance to tie it at the end. But I'll tell you this: I guarantee their play calling would have been different if Boz only got 3 on that final drive.
No question. And that's kind of what I was getting at, because, if this is the old Steelers, then they'll run the ball. They'll get first down. They'll run the clock out, kick the field goal, game over. But in this, I understand why Rodgers took the shot. Because we would have just seen a team try to get a first down and then kick. And the Patriots losing that game reminds me of the type of game that you look back on at the end of the year when you missed the postseason by one game. And that's the one, to turn it over 5 times and still have a chance to win. Ian, I'll let you reply to that one.
Oh, I was just going to add that, like Ryan said, we don't know for sure who called the play, but these guys do talk to each other during the game too. So it is very possible that Aaron, seeing as much as he's seen, said, "Hey, they're sitting in cover 2. Can we get a play that has, let's get Calvin because he's, fast going down the sideline. I can hit him before the safety gets there because his speed is enough to get him to that hole between the corner up and the safety deep."
Yep.
So, and so it could have been a collaborative effort too. It doesn't necessarily have to be like this guy called it or this guy called it. Like sometimes they talk to each other too. And that's part of actually what a good team does, is having good communication between your players and your coordinator, and the coordinator trusting what the guys on the field are seeing and being able to execute what they want.
Oh, no question. No question about it. And it looks like the show's getting ready to take a real shit here because Ben has decided to join us tonight. Once again, just a reminder, we are not only streaming on YouTube, but we're also streaming for the first time on X tonight. And we really encourage you guys, stop by YouTube, like, subscribe, get in the comments, all that. We have an absolutely fantastic group of people that join us every single week for the show. So love to have you aboard. And no, Ben is not at a Dave Matthews concert tonight. He's just running late, and we're not sure why, but we're glad to see him. Well, I guess some of us are. Ben, how are you tonight?
I'm good. You're breaking up a little bit, so I'm kind of wondering what's going on with my computer.
No, you sound fine. So yeah, you're good.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's having some technical issues.
Okay.
Had to reboot.
All right.
And I'm here now.
Okay, very good. What are you drinking tonight?
Tequila.
Oh, tequila. Very nice. Very nice. It changes it up a little bit here for everybody else. Okay, so I guess the big question is Ben, I'll turn it over to you since you're just joining us. But the big question is, how big a fan of Roman Wilson are you?
I have no fucking idea. Like the guy, he's played 41 snaps and he's had 2 targets. And the question is, does he suck, or is Calvin Austin really that much better than he is? And question number 2 is, why the fuck do we keep drafting fucking slot wide receivers? We got enough of those. Enough.
Yeah.
So
by the way, congratulations to Scotty Miller and his wife. They had a baby today, I believe it was.
Nice.
And
good for them.
Yeah, probably another slot receiver on the way. Yeah, just what we need. Well, Ben, I was picking on you there a little bit because you had posted something to X today, and people take it so personal when you comment about a player. Look, the guy was a 3rd-round pick. I think we've all expected a little bit more out of him, and we haven't seen it. And I don't know what else to say about it. And we're honest here. We're very honest on this show. We're not going to sugarcoat any shit like that. So, I hope for the best for the guy. I loved his college career, and I hope things work out and he gets his stuff together. But right now, he's not somebody that I think Aaron Rodgers can depend on. In any way, shape, or form. Right.
And a couple things. This is why I hate setting expectations for young players. I understand if it's a 1st-round pick that there's stuff that comes with that territory, but everyone assuming that Caleb Johnson was going to be RB1.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone assuming that Roman Wilson was going to be a stud. I appreciate that. So here's what I'll say about Rodgers. He still annoys me to a certain extent. But when he was asked about Roman Wilson, I thought he gave a really good response. But in that about like he needs to get out of his own head.
Yeah.
He could be a really great player. And as soon as he said that, I knew Roman Wilson was cooked because like obviously there's something there that Rodgers said about he's in his own head or whatever. Yeah. So whether that he doesn't understand the playbook, he's worried about the playbook. And then he got hurt. He was hurt last year. So this is why you don't set expectations for younger players. And also he was a 3rd-round pick. I mean, he is, he's what, 5'10", 5'11".
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say he won't be a contributor on this offense, but like he's a non-factor right now. Caleb Johnson is a non-factor. I bet you Caleb Johnson gets minimal playing time the rest of the way. They're gonna give a hat to Trey Sermon, and maybe Caleb Johnson isn't even active. But like,
I was just gonna ask that, does he even get a hat?
It's like this is why this is just why I would like, I want to give, like, same with Will Howard. Like, what are we talking about?
Yes.
This guy's going to be QB1. He's a 6th-round pick, man. Like, and he's hurt. He's probably not going to do anything this year. So, like, stop putting unrealistic expectations. And for all the people who are like, oh, it's called being a fan. No, it's not. You can be a fan and like us and still be real about things and not sugarcoat everything. Because if every single draft pick got the same fairness and treatment, then they wouldn't have rounds in a draft. They would just say, we're drafting this player.
Good point. Yeah.
I mean,
at whatever time.
Yeah.
For years, the players have said that the Steelers don't care what round you were drafted in. It's what you do once you show up.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in Wilson in particular, Roman Wilson,
Russell,
you see a guy, Russell, yeah. You see a guy who struggled to get playing time last year. They didn't even want to keep him on the active roster after he came back. And this year he's not getting much playing time either. I mean, we're 3 games in. He's had 41 snaps.
Yeah, and
I think and has gotten 2 targets in those 41 snaps. And he had a reputation for being a tough SOB when he was at Michigan, but
yeah,
I don't really see a guy that size doing a lot of blocking on run plays.
No, it's certainly not any that is of a substantial nature. That's for sure. Speaking of blocking, let's talk about the offensive line. I mean, look, guys, it's a broken record. We can sit here every single week and we can say that, Pat Meyer is just not the guy for this job. We can say that, Broderick is still transitioning back over to left. We can say that Fatanu is still in his rookie year, technically. I don't know that there's anybody along that front that I would look at and say, you know what, they're playing well right now. Ian, am I wrong about that right now? What are you seeing out of this group?
It's a mess. It's the 2 tackles need a lot of work technically. Mm-hmm. I said after week 1 that they kind of had opposite problems, that Broderick's feet were okay, but his upper body was a mess and he was just getting knocked around in bull rush, but he actually did okay against speed rushes, and Fatanu was struggling against speed rushes. Well, guess what? Other teams watched tape and saw that, and Harold Landry speed rushed the hell out of Troy Fatanu this week and was living in the backfield for half the game.
Yeah.
Teams see that, and they're going to take advantage of that. So you have to keep working in season to try and get better. You can't just be the guy you are and continue that way, right? You have to keep trying to get better. Mm-hmm. And these are young guys at tackle, but even the interior guys, Frazier's had some mental mistakes. Hulk Smash McCormick has had some mistakes here and there. Sayamalu's had mistakes. It's the same thing that we've talked about with the line over and over for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
That on any given play, any one of them could make a mistake, and it has the potential to just ruin the whole play. Because if one guy blows a block, it could blow up the whole play. So they just are so individually inconsistent that as a unit, there's no consistency, because it seems like every play somebody's screwing up somewhere.
A lot of us that are on social media, the former Steeler lineman Trey Essex does a great job. Trey is very much willing to be honest, and he gets frustrated with some of the stuff that he sees, and he does a great job of breaking it down. Brian Baldinger does a great job too when he takes a look at the Steelers as well. And I think to your point, it's like they can just never get all 5 guys on the same page. Mm-hmm. And it's just a level of frustration for me that's reaching insanity. Ben, what are you seeing or not seeing?
I think Fatanu's actually playing okay. A young rookie who switched positions now is playing right. I think he'll adapt. He's at least making a fucking effort every week. Broderick Jones either doesn't get it or is getting really bad coaching. I don't know which, but something's wrong there. Something is very wrong. The dude is just it's not clicking. He's counting the wrong guys. He's not counting on stunts that are obvious when they're coming. He's not prepared for any eventualities. He doesn't have a game plan after the snap. It's okay, dude. I just posted something. He's counting guys from the mic, and he's picking the wrong guy. And then when somebody else blocks him, he's like, oh shit, what do I do? And he blocks no one. I'm like, dude, at least fucking hit somebody. You got guys running past you. Hit them.
Well, yeah, that goes back to your earliest days of playing football. That hey, if you're going to make a mistake, do it going 100% and hit somebody. Block somebody, get in the way, even if it's not the guy you're supposed to block them anyway. Yeah. And there's times when Broderick doesn't do that. Scarps?
Well, Steve mentioned in the comments, is any of this falling Andy Weidel? How are you going to skip Omar? Like, I don't understand like how Andy's going to get the blame here, or Tomlin or Art or any. And I understand that Andy was supposed to like build it because of Philly, build the trenches. Come on.
Yeah, and I think that's why Steve asked that.
But Steve, I'm not mad at you asked the question. I don't know how you blame Andy Weidel for that. Like, and then I told these guys earlier in the chat, like, first of all, Pat Meyer's not a good offensive line coach. He's not. Okay. And I don't know why they just refuse to like cut ties with these coaches who can't cut it. But also, they drafted Kendrick Green, played him out of position. They drafted Kevin Dotson, played him out of position. Mm-hmm. Kendrick Green didn't really do anything afterwards, but Kevin Dotson's doing very, very well. So yes, there's the development aspect of it. There's a coaching aspect of it. There's a scouting aspect of it. But you know what? At the end of the day, maybe the player just sucks, and that happens a lot. It's not. Yeah. It's not. You know, it's not like it's some outlier or some anomaly. Like, players just don't cut it at this level. It's just the way it is. Like, you have to be really, really good at this level. And it's the same explanation as to why some first round picks don't cut it, but a fourth round pick does. You know, Larry Foote, for example, was a great inside linebacker. He's a fourth round pick. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I bet you if you're redrafted, you would have taken Foote probably in the first or second round. Like, and that's why I said how important it is when a new GM takes over that their first drafts really hit. Go look at Kevin Colbert's first 6 drafts as the Steelers GM, or he wasn't the GM back then. He was the director of player person.
Right. Different title.
Still, go back and look at his first 6 drafts, and he hit on so many that built that foundation. And going back to Omar, his first round pick was Broderick Jones, and he does not look good. And I know people are like, "Oh, they played him on the wrong side," or this or that. I don't think the dude is a good football player. I don't think he puts in the effort. I don't think he puts in the time to be great. And that often is what separates the greats from the non-greats.
And there's something to be said too about hunger. You know, a 4th, 5th, 6th round undrafted free agent. Sometimes that hunger is there to make you better. Whereas a first round pick, you probably have just skated by on talent your whole life. Ben?
Dulac talked about this earlier in the offseason. I don't know, early August, late July. And he said, the Steelers think a great deal of Broderick Jones, but they wish that he would take the position a little more seriously. And maybe that's the issue, because I see a player who's regressed. Instead of progressing, he's regressed. He was winning on athleticism as a rookie. His technique sucked, but he was winning on athleticism.
The run game. Yeah.
The athleticism is gone. And I'm like, dude, okay, his foundation is still okay. His feet are okay. His upper body, I don't know. It's like he catches rushers rather than being aggressive and striking first and knocking them off of their line. He catches them coming into him. That's not.
Well, no, you're right, man.
Favors, man.
I mean, he's that little kickstart. I mean, he is already 2 yards in the backfield, and you're exactly right. Instead of delivering the blow, he takes the blow, he absorbs it into his chest, and
don't get me wrong, there are plenty of guys who can do a kick step, and then still, as soon as you get close to them, they knock the living shit out of you. Yep. Jonathan Ogden used to do all the time.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I mean, granted, the dude's a Hall of Fame offensive tackle, okay,
right?
But there are guys that can do it. There are lots of guys now playing that can do it, that can do a kick step and then knock the shit out of you. And again, they're knocking you off your line. You got a trajectory. They're like, nope, not going that way.
Yeah. Patches O'Houlihan.
Yeah, I think that gets to Mark's point about like he doesn't have a plan, right? Like he doesn't know what he wants to do when the rusher's coming at him. He's waiting for the rusher to make a move and trying to react. And at this level, that split second costs you, right? But I think one other thing on a broad topic, the Andy Weidel question was a great question. But I think one of the things that it's really hard. Us as amateur fans can never judge this, is what players have between the ears, right? We can watch them on tape in college and be like, oh, that guy's super athletic. He's kind of raw in his technique, but you can look at their, testing scores, their RAS scores, their spark scores, whatever you want for, how fast they ran their 40, what their broad jump was, all that stuff. But we as amateur fans can never know like what's going on between the ears. And at this level, like that's what really separates like the good from the great. Because at this level, everyone's an athletic freak, right? Like everyone has gotten by their whole life on athleticism. And it's what you have between the ears that really separates you, like the very good from the great. And I'm not saying that Broderick doesn't have it, but I think to Ben's point about like what Dulac said about the Steelers, wish he cared a little more. Like that kind of leads me to believe like maybe there's a little something missing between the ears there that they wish he had a little more of instead of, because physically he has the physical tools. He has the size and athleticism to be able to play the position, but it's just like, can he learn it and execute it at this level?
Yeah, but
go ahead, Ben.
There are guys. I mean, look at Mitch Trubisky. He's got all the traits you want for a high-end quarterback. He could be a stud, but he like you just said, his mental problem is not there. Mike,
check your connection, Peter Frampton.
Am I still here? Okay, that's awesome. All right, well, it's another example of a guy who he can't do it because he doesn't have the mental processing power.
No,
I'm going to do this again here.
Agreed. I want to stay on the offensive side just for a second, and it's something that we've talked about recently, and it's definitely come up more and more. It seems like offensive coordinators, not just our own, but across the league, are really struggling with what to do against a cover two. And look, I am not going to sit here and profess to be an expert in cover two. I understand the differences between cover two and other covers and the Tampa 2 and things of this nature. But it just seems, and Ian, we were talking about this. Why are coordinators struggling to find successes? Because usually on the broadcast, you'll hear the color guy will say, well, you got to run the ball so you can bring one of those safeties in the box and get them out of that cover two. Well, that's true, but you also still have to be able to throw the ball against cover two. So what is happening in your opinion?
Are you asking me first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think there's a combination of factors. It's not just one thing, but some of it is, I think the biggest thing is quarterbacks aren't taught to read defenses anymore. And this goes back to how they're playing in college. And so much of it is just like, the offensive coordinator calls the play, the quarterback goes in and executes it. There's so much read option stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, a true cover two, you're sitting too high with zone underneath. And the idea is you're taking away those, the little hook routes, right? And if you give those up, then you're at least like, tackling the catch and not giving up a ton of yards. Plus you're taking away, having the field deep. So I think part of it is quarterbacks don't know how to read defenses. The really good defensive coordinators, not ours, are disguising things. The one we'll play this week is going to disguise the shit out of everything.
Oh, yeah. Man. Yeah, we'll get to that.
And so part of it is that, maybe a quarterback, can get to the line and be like, okay, it looks like they're in cover one. And then snaps the ball and is like, oh, shit, they're in cover two because they rotated. But then they don't have the awareness of
they don't have
what's
the
going
fix.
on. Of what the fix is, right? That they're running a play that their offensive coordinator called. We've gotten so far away from, the days of the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's, even the Ben Roethlisbergers, the Phillip Rivers, where you give them 3 plays at the line, right? You give them 2 pass plays and a run play. And it's like, okay, if you see this, you can either check to the run or, here's the base play you're running, but you can also run this pass play or this, depending on what you see at the line. And, we've talked about it a lot, that at the end of Roethlisberger's career, he'd just be like, I see this, Juju, run a slant here, and it would work. But it's one of those things where it's not any one thing that's causing the problem. But you're right. I mean, after the one game last weekend, I think it was the Giants game, that Dable was like, well, they were in split safeties a lot. I'm like, you're a guy who was an offensive coordinator with Russell Wilson, who's a veteran quarterback. Granted, he made some really dumb fucking
plays. He had some ugly plays.
But still, like, you can't just be like, well, they were in split safeties, so we couldn't operate our offense. Like, you can figure it out, right? Like, okay, so you can't throw whatever normal routes you want to throw. Okay, throw those hole shots to the 15, 20 yards, behind the front corner in front of the safety. Run 3 verticals with 2 guys going deep to draw the safeties, and then a tight end running down the seam down the middle. And that's what the Tampa 2 was supposed to take away with the linebacker dropping. So it's one of those things where you got to be a little more creative if you know what they're doing, but it's still, some of it's on the offensive coordinators, but I think a lot of it's on quarterback development, that the quarterbacks aren't getting to the league knowing how to read a defense. And even when they get in the league, there's so much pressure to just win now that staffs aren't developing their quarterbacks in the league to teach them how to read defenses and how to make those audibles at the line and do those things. That they're just like, okay, this is what our quarterback does good. We're going to call this thing. We're just going to spam this every time until it doesn't work anymore, because we need to win now to save our jobs.
Yeah. Ben, what are you seeing with offenses against the cover 2?
The same. Offensive coordinators are way too involved in what's going on. Pre-snap, they're chirping in their quarterback's ear, and they're not giving them the freedom to audible and see what they see and teaching them to react to that and put the offense in the best play possible. They're going, no, do this, run my play. Nope. Okay, you're gonna make this adjustment, but that's it. That's all you're doing. And it's way too hands-on. And Ian hit the nail on the head. They're not teaching them anymore how to operate on their own. And maybe in offensive coordinators' defense, maybe these kids are coming in out of these spread offenses in college, and they can't run the offenses the way.
No, I think I do agree with that big time.
And it's, again, there is pressure to win right away. And so they don't have the time to teach them and invest in them.
One last thing.
Yeah.
That the shelf life for offensive coordinators is so short nowadays. It's basically you either succeed and get a head coaching job within 2 years, or you're fired within a year or two, right?
Unless you're a Steelers offensive coordinator.
Right. Yeah.
We're always that exception.
But
well, yeah, because we don't want to not pay. We don't want to pay you for not working. That's different.
Correct. Yeah. Cheapskates.
Just real quick.
Go ahead. Ryan.
And I know people hate him, but I'm not a fan of Tom Brady, the broadcaster.
Nor I.
But Tom Brady, the panelist or interviewee, when he talks about being in the film room and getting to the line, and hey, he knew he didn't have the best arm or the strongest arm, but he knew when he got to the line what you were going to do. And do I have a play that's going to win on this down.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you hear him say that, but then you sit back and think like, damn, like how many times did he just throw the ball at a running back's feet because he thought he had a play that might get them some yards, but then he's like, fuck, like this isn't gonna work. And I completely agree with Ian and Ben and Steel Dad, but these dudes now, they're not prepared for that in college. They rely too much on their athleticism, and it just doesn't bode well at this next level. For example, Jackson Dart is going to start this week for the Giants, and Ben, I know you hate fantasy, but I picked up the LA Chargers defense because they are going to fucking make his life a living hell. They are going, and
I took them in my survivor pool this week. I took the Chargers.
They are going to, and you go back to the Gruden camp where you know he was in love with Will Howard, but like, you know, Jackson Dart talked about like what his cadence was and what this was, and it was like what my fucking toddler does, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like, and I'm just sitting there like, God, you played in the SEC, and like, like, come on, man, like I know you ain't watching film, like you're too good looking for that, man, like you're out doing different things, you know. So I think and like I said, oftentimes the basics, oftentimes people don't want to go to the basics for success. They just they want the highlight reel. But at the end of the day, it, as Ian said earlier, you know, when Ben got to the latter portions of his career, when he didn't have mobility and his arm wasn't even that great, he knew exactly where to put people and tell them what to do.
Something to be said for that.
And because he knew what they were running on defense. And I would say this it sucks because Rodgers is 1,000 years old, but Rodgers is doing sort of the same things right now. And I'm not talking about the Sunday, but Rodgers knows most of the time what defenses are doing, and he's calling plays or he's putting guys in position to succeed, like that Calvin Austin touchdown. So
before we talk a little defense, Scarps, I did want to get your take on what the Steelers are doing, like literally right now, which is flying over to Ireland. You were with the Steelers when they went to London. Just what kind of operation does this entail? I mean, is this just is it the same thing as, hey, we're going out to LA for a Sunday game, or is this a different animal?
Grateful to say I went to London, but also went to San Diego, San Francisco, Oakland, and Seattle. Even though the flights are close, time of the flights is close, it doesn't feel the same. It's just a different environment, man.
Yeah.
There's different signs, there's different sayings, there's different accents, there's different people,
different culture.
And you can't help but just like sort of like embrace yourself or immerse yourself in everything that's happening. You when you go to Seattle, you're like, hey, have you seen Pearl Jam or not? You know what I mean? And you see Kurt Cobain or Chris Cornell, R.I.P. But so like when you like, it's almost like it's like when you're going to Seattle, it's still a business trip. When you're going to Dublin or you're going to London, you're going to call it a business trip, but you're kind of like, oh, you know, I'm in Europe. Like I'm in another country. Like it's different.
Are there more demands on some of the players because it's overseas?
What do you mean by demands?
In other words, if media availability to let's say Cam Hayward or TJ Watt was this standard, if we're playing in Seattle, is it is there more demand on them because now they're over in Europe and you want the fans to have
I mean,
access to them?
there is more demand. Whereas in other cities, you got production meetings. You have production meetings upon arrival, but then post practice, and then also there was like a pep rally in Piccadilly Circle.
Yep. I think they're having one on Sunday morning too, or Saturday night.
So like, but it's also a different type of media because they're just happy that you're there. They have a different type of story to cover. Whereas if you're in the States still, like the NFL rolls, right?
Yeah.
So I think I tweeted this earlier, like Ike Taylor stole the show when we got to London. Like
of course he did.
Like, I mean, Ike was having a fucking blast. Like
he's over there right now on the PR tour.
Yes. And like, I saw that. But you know, Ike was like, man, he's like, hold on a sec. Your accent is real thick. And I remember that one. And then someone said the loo, and he thought they said Jiffy Lube. He's like, Jiffy Lube, you get your oil changed. And then like, I would even say this is like guys like Dave DeCastro enjoyed the fucking international media more than like the regular media.
Sure.
So like, it's just different. It's just different when you go overseas. And I
wanted to get your take on it, and we'll get more into the Vikings here shortly. But I did want to talk a little bit about our defense. Look, they 5 sacks, 5 turnovers. It's hard to argue with that, but let's be honest too. They gave up some long drives. They were on the short end with time of possession again, Ben. What is? Take it away.
Our defense is fucking terrible on 3rd and 4th down. What the fuck? What the actual fuck?
Awful.
Horrible. I mean, we should have lost that game. I'm sorry. I know it. Nobody wants to hear it. Oh, they got 5 sacks and 5 turnovers. How can you complain? I can complain. I can fucking complain. They gave up 400 yards of offense. 400 yards of fucking offense. That's how I can complain. They were very fortunate. They had 2 turnovers well inside the 10-yard line. Come on, man.
Yep.
You can't let guys get that close.
Yeah.
What happens the week you can't perform that way? You're fucked.
Yeah, you're not getting 5 turnovers every week.
No. I mean, it's not every quarterback that can lose a game when you get 5 turnovers, but Mason Rudolph managed. This guy is a Hall of Fame guy, so he won by 7.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The pattern remained this week. I think just real quick, Ian, the opposing offense in the first 3 weeks of the season has run heavily away from TJ Watt. And that continued last week. And I tend to think it'll probably continue this week over in Dublin. But more than that, to Ben's point, what in the holy hell is going on 3rd down and 4th down? We just can't make a stop.
And I think the bigger concern for me on 3rd down, like, yes, we're giving up a ton of 3rd down conversions, but on the ones we stop them, we're still giving up so many yards that they're in 4th and short. We're giving up, like, if we're in a 3rd and 12, we're giving up 10 yards and they're in 4th and 2 and going for it, right? Like, how many times this happened a lot against the Patriots?
We had them in 3rd and long 7 times, and they converted 6.
Yeah. And some of it was because we gave up so many yards that they were like, well, we're going to go for this on 4th down. Like, a 3rd down stop doesn't mean as much anymore in the NFL as it used to. That's went true. For it on their own 15-yard line. Like, what is this, And yes, it was 4th and 1, and they thought they had a play that worked. They ran the dumbest, reverse pitch play possible. Let's pitch it back to a running back 5 yards behind the line, and it worked twice against us. Mm-hmm. And then in the 4th quarter, with 2 minutes left, when it mattered the most, they threw the ball. I was like, why didn't you run the play that worked 3 times already this game? But it's one of those things where, not only are we giving up 3rd down conversions and can't get off the field, but even when we stop them, we're still leaving the other team in a position where they can go for it on 4th down, which is just as bad because a lot of teams will go for it now. The other one point I want to say, and I'll let other people talk. You mentioned TJ Watt and you mentioned running away from him.
Yeah.
Patriots did one thing different,
okay,
which was, I think, why Watt had 2 sacks this game. A lot of teams, I've talked about the gate philosophy, right? Where they set up sort of these gates that Watt has to go through. It's like if you've ever seen a Simon Pegg movie where he jumps over the fences over and over and over again, right? Like he does it in all 3 of them, in Hot Fuzz, in the zombie one, and then in the End of the World one.
Here's a guy that knows his Simon Pegg movies.
Yeah. Okay. At any rate,
I was about to talk about Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz is a great movie, man. All right, but at any rate, we've talked about this before. Most teams use 3 guys. They use like a tight end to chip him, then a tackle to try and block him, and then either the guard slides back or you've got a running back as the 3rd guy. The Patriots only use 2. Both sacks Watt had, he only had to go through 2 guys instead of going through 3. So, I noticed that, especially on his first sack. I was like, oh, he only had to go through 2 guys there. A tight end chipped him, and then the tackle was waiting there, but the tackle kind of pulled a Broderick Jones and was just standing there, and Watt just swatted his hands out of the way and ran around him. So it didn't really slow him down all that much. But then there was no 3rd guy to go through. It was just the quarterback there, so he was able to get to him. Yes, thank you, Aaron. Shaun of the Dead was the zombie movie. And The End of the World, which starts out as a drinking bar crawl movie and turns into an alien movie, is hilarious. Highly recommend all 3 of those. Anyways, that's my point. TJ didn't have to go through 3 gates. He only had to go through 2.
Yeah, no, and that does matter. It does. Scarps, did you think that Cole Holcomb made a difference on Sunday?
I did, but he's also not very good. He's okay. All right, I'm just being honest about it. But the bottom line is that they're giving up yards and they're giving up points. And the only reason they didn't give up points last week is because the Patriots had fumbleitis.
Yeah.
I mean, if they only get 3 of the 5 turnovers, they lose that game. They absolutely lose that game.
Yeah.
And anyone
depends on which 3 they get.
Yeah, you can play that game too.
Fine. Okay. If they don't get those 2 in the red zone, they don't win that game.
Yeah, for sure. You're right.
Exactly.
100%. You are correct.
Don't
get me wrong. The Steelers defense did work to get those turnovers. They did work to rip the ball out. I'll give them props for that. But you can still hold on to the ball, right? And if the Patriots had managed to do that, especially in those 2 positions, you don't win.
No, and credit to the Steelers. And they said Mike Tomlin showed a clips of Ramondre Stevenson putting on the ground. Totally get that. I'm not saying that the Steelers didn't have a part in that, but you can't expect that to happen every week. And I said this earlier, the Steelers are the only team in the last 6 or 7 years to force 5 turnovers and have 5 sacks and not score more than 23 points.
Yeah, and we kind of had a feeling as that game got towards the end.
They should have blown out New England, and they didn't.
If you get 5 turnovers, you should blow the other team out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
they got 1 scoring drive out of those 5.
But anyway, the bottom line is anyone making excuses for this defense right now.
I'm sorry, Vinny's comment here. I'm sorry, Ryan.
For those listening, Vinny just said Steelers got on those fumbles like a guy that slides into a girl's DMs when they take their boyfriend's name off her bio.
That's so good. That's so good. What a comment, Vinny.
Matt, we are not finding a way to poop on a win. We are finding a way to poop on what's coming because the signs are there that the luck is going to run out, man. And you're not going to get 5 turnovers every game. And it's not sustainable. I think what we're saying.
Jesus Christ. Like, if you think this team is going to do anything in January, you're absolutely out of your mind. You are. When are we getting into predictions this week so I can
Oh, we're getting there.
So I can cook. I'm gonna be like Walter fucking White tonight. I'm gonna fucking cook. I'm gonna be like Tuco, Walter, and actually Jesse
Tuco,
Pinkman. Jesse Pinkman makes an appearance in the Casey tonight. So.
Yeah, look at Dom in here trolling us, man. We did. We all had
we did.
The week before we all had the Steelers winning and they lost. Last week we had them losing and they won. So yeah, this week is going to be fun. Yeah, the Vikings. I want to make sure I read this correctly, Ben. When you posted that in our chat today, were you saying that it's almost as if Tomlin would have preferred to have played J.J. McCarthy rather than Carson Wentz this week? Oh, did we lose
Ben is frozen, but I will answer that I would 100% rather have played J.J. McCarthy.
I don't know that they would he prefer it. I think that Tomlin plays a little game in his press conferences where that was Tuesday, and he was like, I told the guys last year to keep Anthony Richardson upright, and to not take the backup quarterback lightly. And I think that was the point he was trying to make, is that we're not taking Carson Wentz lightly. We think he's respectable, but he may have been playing a fucking game. You never know with Mike.
Yeah.
He may have been.
Didn't we see Carson Wentz when he was still with the Eagles and that it was a COVID game at Heinz Field?
That was in 2016, man.
Oh, no, I know. It was a long time ago.
No. That was
it would have been 2020.
He beat our ass.
2016, he beat our ass badly.
Yeah, 2016 he did.
He put his foot up the Steelers' defense's ass.
Yes, but I think it was the game in Pittsburgh.
At Heinz Field, they scored 30 points and lost. And the one receiver for the Eagles who had an unbelievable game and an unbelievable 6-game span. And I can't remember his name.
Well, I think that was the Claypool 4 TD game.
It was.
Yeah.
But the Eagles had a receiver who had
and who the hell was that?
13 for 203 touchdowns or some shit.
Who was that? Shit. I can't think of his name. I can see him.
If only you guys had a device in front of you could look that game up on.
I'm looking it up.
Well, I'm kind of like I'm like an air traffic controller. I got all kinds of stuff going here. And I want to congratulate Tom. Tom just became Steel City Blitz's first gold level member.
Matt Smith is getting personal
gold
right now.
Level?
Earlier this week. He's going to get lots of wonderful things. Let me tell you. Earlier this week, we hit over 500 subscribers, and that allows us to do some monetization type stuff. And so I set we have a black level at 99 cents. We have a gold level at $1.99. And if love to have you if you do that. There's some other cool things involved with it as well. And believe me, we're not retiring from our regular jobs anytime soon, but this does help pay the bills. And Tom, congratulations on being the first. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Tom. It was Travis Fulgham.
Yes.
Yes.
My
goodness.
Sorry. He had 10 for $152 and 1 touchdown, but it felt like it was 30,000 touchdowns. Of course, this game is going to go to overtime because the league is the league.
You're kidding me.
In point shaving.
The Sea Chickens and the Cardinals are going to OT, huh? Okay.
Sure looks like it.
Yeah. So look, the Vikings come in. I was a little surprised by a statistic I saw today. The Vikings have punted as much as any team in the league so far this year.
I think that was the 2 games with
McCarthy.
Correct, because it all changed last week. Of course, they had 2. Did they have 2 defensive TDs last week?
I think the same guy had 2 defensive.
Yeah, same guy.
Isaiah Rodgers had it.
Yep.
Had a game for the ages.
So I think a lot of people are just automatically assuming that because the Vikings beat the Bengals so bad last week, we struggled and stumbled our way to a victory, that we're just going to get our doors blown off, kind of a thing. Plus the fact that when we played the Vikings overseas last time, it didn't go real well. And weren't we both 0-3 going into that game?
We were certainly 0-3.
Yeah, I think both teams were.
Both teams were.
Yeah. And we won the race to 0-4 because we couldn't stop Adrian Peterson, if I remember correctly.
Was that the game that Adrian Peterson concussed Willie Gay? Or no, that was at Heinz Field.
That was the earlier
09.
one.
That was 09, yeah. He Willie Gay tried to tackle him and Peterson just bowled him over.
Mm-hmm.
That was Le'Veon Bell's first touchdown though. It was in England.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was
the last game at tackle that what's his name? The second round pick.
Mike Adams.
Mike Adams. Who wrote the letter
about him.
Wrote the letter to the Steelers of please draft me. And then got stabbed on the south side. That was the last game he ever started, and then they put in Calvin Beachum. Because he just got cooked by Jared Allen, which
it was also
LC
Greenwood died that day.
Yes. Holy shit, man. Mm-hmm. LC is one of my favorite, man. Hollywood bags. The Vikings, keep in mind, they've got a little bit different schedule because not only are they playing in Dublin on Sunday, but they stay in Europe. They'll play the Browns next week in London. So they're going to be over there for 10 days. And look, we talk about the mental aspects of these games that the Steelers will get over there and they'll be able to come right back home for their bye week. But that was their request. They could have changed it if they wanted to, but Mike Tomlin wanted to go with that.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that.
I don't really either. I would have preferred it later in the season, but Mike knows ball a hell of a lot better than I ever do. So it just seems odd to have it that early, but be that as it may. Did anyone in your eyes play well on Sunday besides Cam Hayward, besides TJ Watt? Did anybody have a good game, Ben?
Yeah. Herbie had a good game. I mean, as a pass rusher anyway, he wasn't great against the run, setting the edge, but he was okay-ish adjacent. It wasn't like embarrassingly bad. I've seen some games where Herbie was embarrassingly bad. But yeah, the dude had like 8 pressures and a sack and a hit, and he was making some plays, and he was doing enough in the run game, or honestly, in some situations where the quarterback had the ball and was trying to extend the play, where it made plays even though he didn't make tackles.
Yes,
he took away options, and I thought he had a really nice game. People are saying, "Well, I don't know how you keep him out." That's nuts. I don't know how you keep him out when Highsmith comes back. Well, Highsmith can actually set the edge, man.
Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah, but I did like the energy that Herbig played with. I thought he was a constant thorn in their side on Sunday. I think for his first game, I thought Jabril Peppers did a few nice things. Obviously,
Peppers knew that offense though. He knew the offense.
Absolutely, and that's exactly why I'm not gonna.
He practiced against those guys. Yeah. He knew the players. He knew the offense. Yep. It was a no-brainer starting him, in my opinion.
And that's
nice things. Yeah, absolutely. And I think Peppers should be returning fucking kicks, not blocking for them.
Well, yeah. What Ian? Who had a good game in your eyes?
Jaylen Warren. We talked about this after the Jets game that we were like, why is Kenneth Gainwell in there so much? Like, why aren't they? What are they doing? And the last 2 weeks, they've actually featured Warren a bit more, and he's running a lot more decisively, and was picking up some key yardage in situations. There was a 3rd and 2 where he was, had to make a cutback sort of half spin move in the backfield to get around a defender to keep a drive alive, and he was able to convert it into a first down. Yes, it was only a 4-yard gain, but on 3rd and 2, a 4-yard gain as opposed to a 4-yard gain as opposed to a 2-yard loss is astronomical, right?
The 6-yard swing.
Plus it keeps the drive alive and you have to kick a field goal, right? Warren is, and sometimes with running backs, running backs sometimes just like need to find their rhythm. Like you can't just give them the ball once or twice and be like, oh, well, they stink today. Right. They kind of got to like get a feel into the game a little bit. Yeah. But actually I thought, Warren was doing really well early in the game and the line was blocking. And then the Patriots made some adjustments and it wasn't going so well, but I thought Warren stuck with it and kept making some good hard runs late into the game
drive.
too.
Yeah.
And
sure. What was the stat I saw this week on Warren? 92% of his yards had come after contact. 92% of his yards. That's ridiculous. Rushing yards, I should say that, because he has a bunch of receptions, but his rushing yards, 92%. That's ridiculous, man.
It is.
That speaks to an offensive line that has given a guy no room, none.
It's frustrating, and I can't even imagine. And first of all, best wishes to Najee Harris. He's out for the year. He's got the Achilles injury out there, but the reason I thought of him was because he largely stayed really, really professional. I mean, he was a dude that was getting hit behind the line a lot. Some of it because of his own, wishy-washy decision-making and stuff. But at the same time, he always stayed professional. And Jalen has too. He tends to do that. Real quick, again, thank you to Matt. Thank you to Bernard. Thank you to Aaron for joining in, being part of our group here at Steel City Blitz. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Of course, Aaron probably felt obligated to. I kind of felt bad for him. Probably put some peer pressure on him there. In any case, but Vikings coming up this week. It's a 9:30 kick. What is it they eat over there for breakfast in Dublin? I don't even. What
the British eat beans and toast,
bangers and mash or some shit.
Bangers and mash is delicious. Don't shit on bangers and mash, man.
Yeah, whatever, dude. You're the guy who had the fucking poo-poo platter at the other day in Southside Works, where you were at the Hopbrow House. What did you have again?
A poo-poo platter.
No, it was
you had the Jagoff platter. No, your wife had the Jagoff platter.
She had the.
You had the worst platter.
I had the worst
platter. Isn't that like
WRSD worst platter? And your wife had the Jagoff platter. What the fuck? What was that about?
Schnitzel. The Jaeger Schnitzel was delicious. Yes. Okay. Okay. At any rate, we don't need to talk about what I ate when I went out for Jaeger Schnitzel and bratwurst, beerwurst, kielbasa are delicious. I don't really, I don't know.
I'm always a fan of the kielbasas.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Seattle just won.
Wow.
Walk-off field goal.
Well, I'm just glad that Kyler Murray can get home and play Call of Duty now.
Yeah. What were we talking about before Ben?
Who the hell knows?
Call of Duty.
We've had some drinks.
We have. I had a comment about something, but I don't remember what it was. So okay.
Yeah. Well, we still have Casey Kasem to get to, and we still need to do predictions for this week. The Steelers and Vikings will kick it off at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. That means if you're on the west coast of the United States of America, you're kicking off at 6:30 a.m.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Will your bar be opening for you guys?
Yes.
Good for them.
6 a.m., baby.
Outstanding.
However, they will not serve any alcohol until 7. So, airplane bottles it is.
Just going to say airplane bottles and homemade Bloody Marys.
So, Ben, are you going to
ask for a glass of Bloody Mary mix with a little, a little bit of ice? And
love it.
Thank you.
Ben, are you going to go to sleep or are you going to stay up all night through the game and then just sleep after the game?
No, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to, I go to bed, I'm old. I go to bed pretty early.
That's true.
The Call of Duty reference, Jamie, was because there were rumors that he wasn't studying the playbook or watching film because he was too busy playing video games. Specifically, Call of Duty was mentioned. So that's why I harp on that all the time. In any case. But anyway, Vikings, Steelers, 9:30. Who wants to lead off predictions? Because, boy, have we been off the last couple weeks.
Oh, we're still picking the Steelers to lose because we've gone 0 for 4 the last 2 weeks, right? I mean, come on.
Vinny, good luck, my man. Vinny is going to try to shut off his phone and everything else. He's going to church. He's playing flag football. He's DVRing it, going to watch the game at noon.
You know, that's what happens when you go to a high university, Vinny. You know, you got your priorities in order. That's what I'm talking about, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Priorities, yeah. All right, let's see here. Ben,
Vinny, I might be in the same boat.
Ben, what do you got? What do you got for your prediction?
Well, the Vikings actually lead the league in punts.
They do,
believe it or not.
They do,
which is amazing. I'm super happy about that. I think that gives us a little bit of a chance. On top of that, the Steelers are among the tops in touchdowns scored in the red zone. So, you know, that gives me hope. Conversely, Brian Flores is an evil genius on defense, and we have a young offense, in my opinion. We got some old talent on the offense too, obviously, especially quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We have a young offense that is, prone to mistakes. Yeah. Is that a nice way of putting it? Probably not. I was looking for something more diplomatic, but they're prone to some mistakes, especially along the offensive line. And when you've got offensive linemen that can't seem to count from the mic, that's the middle linebacker,
right?
And pick the right guy to block, it makes things more difficult. And we have at least one of those guys, potentially two, and I'm not talking about Fautanu being the guy who's not blocking the right guy. So you got a couple of guys that might do that. It makes things more difficult when you blow assignments. And I got the Vikings.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
I got the Vikings winning this. I'm going to roll with wow.
Oh,
I'm going to say 27-17.
So Ben is going to go 27-17 Purple People Eaters. Scarps, what do you got?
Let me go last. Sorry.
All right. Ian?
Yeah, Scarps needs to cook like Jesse Pinkman.
Scarpino.
He's finishing up his Casey Kasem is what he's doing.
Yeah, I thought I for sure my computer did not autosave.
All right. So Ben mentioned about the Vikings leading the league in punts, and I kind of poo-pooed it as like, oh, that was just with JJ McCarthy. They punted 5 times last week. How do you punt 5 times? I mean, I know they had 2 defensive touchdowns, but they punted 5 times and scored 48 points. And
so that's how you score 48 points. You have 2 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
So you grab all the momentum.
They scored 34 points and punted 5 times. Like, that's ludicrous. Like, the Bengals obviously did absolutely
ludicrous
speed. Ludicrous speed. Yes. The Bengals did nothing. We're better, at least at quarterback, than the Bengals. Our offensive line is probably equally as bad. To me, I think this game comes down to whether or not we can stop Jordan Mason, because like Carson Wentz can make some throws. He can also do some dumb shit. And, you know, that's kind of been the story of his NFL career, right? That he can do some nice things, but do some dumb things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And he only had 20 pass attempts in their last game, right? Like, they really limited the times he needed to throw because Jordan Mason just ran all over Cincinnati. And we've been terrible against the run. Yes, Richard, Ben is falling asleep. Because Ben is old, as he has admitted. Also, I'm stalling to give Scarps time to finish.
That's why I'm on no-go.
Dr. Kevorkian, I haven't seen you for a long time, man. I haven't seen Dr. Kevorkian for a long time.
Ian, did you have a prediction somewhere in there?
I did, yeah. But no, Brian Flores runs the most cover 2 and cover 6 of any coordinator in the league, and he also disguises stuff the most of anyone. So when Ben said he's an evil genius, it's not just what he's running and how teams struggle against that. It's that he disguises it really well and makes it even harder for quarterbacks. Now, Aaron Rodgers has obviously been around, but also they've got pretty darn good pass rushers in Van Ginkel and Greenard and some of their interior guys. Like, this is a really good Vikings defense. It's a really well-rounded defense.
Okay.
And I mean, we only had like 200 yards of offense against the Patriots, and they're a much worse defense than the Vikings. Like, I really just struggle to see us moving the ball here. And as much as I hate to do it again, I'm going to pick the Vikings. Let me think. I'm going to go Vikings 27, Steelers 13.
Yeesh.
It just
Wow.
it doesn't feel like
faith.
It doesn't feel like a good game for our offense. It feels like a game where our offense is going to struggle. And like, even if you're like, okay, we're going to limit Carson Wentz as much as we can, like, he still has Justin Jefferson he's throwing the ball to, and Jordan Addison's back too. So like, they've got two pretty good receivers out there. And at the end of the day, if we commit to stopping Jordan Mason, like, do we really trust our secondary against whatever concepts Kevin O'Connell comes up with, who's also a pretty good offensive coach? Like, this just doesn't seem like a good recipe all around.
All right. Scarps, what do you got?
I don't really give a shit about these predictions. I don't care. They're not going to be on my tombstone or in my casket when I fucking go.
So
I want to say this, though. I think Kevin O'Connell is a better coach than Mike Tomlin right now.
Wow.
I think Brian Flores is a much better coach than Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin right now. But this is a game that Mike Tomlin wins.
Oh.
And I looked this up earlier. In Mike Tomlin's tenure, in games decided by 1 point, plus or minus 1 point, he is first with a win percentage of 87.5.
Wow, someone's doing some research.
That being said, give me the Minnesota Vikings skull.
Oh, shit.
24-21.
Wow, close one. Okay.
You know, historically, Vikings have done very well.
You're taking the
British
Vikings
Isles.
anyway?
They
I mean, they established Lindisfarne as their
coach. Look,
what the fuck? You know?
Everything, all the trends are going in the way of the Vikings when you really look at all this stuff. And here's one that goes in kind of Mike Tomlin's way. He's 12-5 going into the bye. 12-5-1, I believe it is. And so that's not too bad. But I think this game boils down. It's not about the blocking. It's not about the tackling. It's not about the turnovers. It's about the Chief. The Chief is going to be up there smiling down on his black and gold.
Are you going to fuck this up?
As they play in
You are going to fuck this up.
I am going to fuck this up.
You're going to go with the luck of the Irish because of the Chief?
No, I'm not. Would you let me finish, for God's sakes? I think Carson Wentz will make mistakes. I think the Steelers will do just enough offensively, but it won't be enough. The Vikings will win 23-17.
All right.
Oh, man.
So we got to go with the mojo. We all picked them to win. That's what.
Yep.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to break it up.
They picked the Steelers week before. Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. Great. Hopefully they win. I'm fingers crossed. If they don't, we'll break this shit up and we'll do something else.
Agreed.
Okay. Aaron's got the line of the night. How much do I have to super chat to get Ben muted? All right, Casey Kasem, let's hear it.
Boy, oh boy. Oh, shit. Casey's Coast to Coast, American Top 40. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the week that was September 25th, 1988. Our favorite correspondent and non-ball knower, Ryan, is back with us again this week, and he writes, Dear Casey, you know that it would be untrue You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, Mike Tomlin will never be fired.
He won't.
Casey, that's of course a parody of The Doors' Light My Fire off their album The Doors, released in 1967, which, as you know, was the year Aaron Rodgers was born. Much like The Doors, Tomlin is looking to break on through to the other side of a playoff victory. But when it comes to The Doors, Tomlin will never be shown the door. Casey, we all know Mike Tomlin's seat is colder than a sea lion's hairy taint. It's colder than a whaler's harpoon. It's colder than Moby's, well, dick. But I can't help but think, as Jesse Pinkman said, he can't keep getting away with this. As I watched yet another Tomlin one-score win.
He can.
Yeah. As I watched another Tomlin one-score win, I was happy, pissed off. Because a win is a win, but it just always looks the same. The feeling of Tomlin winning a game is like seeing your ex at the bar when you're 12 beers deep and you go a round or two in the back of your Chevy Silverado. It feels good for a few minutes after, but then it's instant regret. It doesn't matter who the QB is. It doesn't matter who the coordinators are. It's the same ugly product it's been since 2019, and like it or not, it always ends poorly. Earlier this week, Tomlin talked about the struggles on 3rd and longs, saying, there were a myriad of ways we were somewhat limited with some of our schematics due to obvious circumstances. I expect us to continue to get better in some of those spaces. Forgive me, Casey. I burped a few times during that read. Well, Mike, I'm not a defensive genius like you, but I'm pretty sure you're saying the function of the components and their interconnections is lacking, which isn't good, and it goes back to something I'll continue to say. I would rather have 11 no-names on defense who play well together, communicate, and make the routine plays routinely. Because what you have right now is not working. I see a lot of names, a lot of former first-round picks, and if the stars don't show up, you are, what do the kids say? Cooked. For someone who is supposed to be such a defensive-minded coach, Mike, the results are not there. I hate myself for loving you. Well, Ryan, keep your feet in the crowd and keep reaching for the stars. And keep your radio tuned right where it is. Up 4 spots to number 8 this week. Here's Joan Jett and the Blackhearts with I Hate Myself for Loving You.
Outstanding.
Oh, that's a great tune.
Outstanding. He leads with the Doors and he ends up with Joan Jett. Oh, my God. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks, everybody that was on X tonight, our very first time being there. And I now that I figured it out, we will definitely be back there as well. Obviously, thanks to our usual cadre of YouTube chat members. Awesome as always, everybody. Love seeing you guys. Love having you.
You guys are the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Continue to check out Ian's stuff on Whitfield High School football in Western PA there for those of you from that area. And, of course, SteelCityBlitz.com is the place to check out our thoughts on the Steelers. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Enjoy that morning game, 9:30 a.m. kickoff on Sunday. And as always, go Steelers.
Ravens suck.
They're 1-2. Either them or the Chiefs are going to be 1-3. That's hilarious.
We've had some drinks.